Pfizer and Moderna each recently introduced the first COVID-19 vaccines on the market, and both are over 90% effective. It's an unprecedented achievement. But it isn't all roses. These vaccines are looking to be a logistical challenge. Why? Because they work in an entirely different way than conventional vaccines. Conventional vaccines usually contain inactivated disease proteins that were made by the pathogen, essentially mimicking the infectious agent. Once injected, the body's immune system will learn how to protect against these agents. Then, when you're actually exposed to the disease, your immune system already knows to fight it off. But these new vaccines are different. It's called an RNA vaccine. It contains an mRNA sequence that is coded for a disease-specific antigen. mRNA is the molecule that tells cells what to build. In this case, it tells them to build a cell that mimics COVID-19 on the cell's surface. But it's not actually COVID. Then, the immune system recognizes that it's a threat and learns to protect against it.
So the RNA and the DNA approaches are approaches where they try to train the body to recognize a particular genetic substance and then be able to create a defensive mechanism against that particular element. Very novel, very interesting, and very promising.
There are some definite benefits to an RNA vaccine. Since the RNA vaccine doesn't have any infectious elements, it's safer, as there's no risk of accidentally getting sick. And it's really effective. During their phase 3 clinical trials, Pfizer and BioNTech said it had been 95% effective. During Moderna's phase 3 trials, they have had a 94.5% success rate. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration had only expected a 50% efficacy rate, which makes this 90+% success all the more exciting. But since this is 2020, we can't have just the benefits. There's gotta be a catch. Pfizer's vaccine uses new technology that requires different modes of storage and administration. First, the vaccine needs to be administered twice, 21 days apart. And it needs to be cold. Really, really cold. -94 degrees Fahrenheit cold. Normally, vaccines only need to be stored at 40 degrees. A Pfizer representative said that as soon as the vaccine begins to warm up, the mRNA component begins to fall apart and twist around in ways so that it doesn't become effective. The vaccine can be kept in an ultra-low temperature freezer for up to 6 months, or it can be kept for 5 days at the normal 35 to 46 degrees. Pfizer will be sending the vaccine in storage units full of dry ice that can be refilled to last up to 15 days, as long as the storage unit is only opened twice a day. While Moderna's 2-dose vaccine doesn't have to be quite that cold, it does have to be colder than the standard hospital refrigerator at -4 degrees Fahrenheit. These temperature requirements are predicted to be a challenge for the supply chain. According to Reuters, there is a chronic lack of suitable equipment and even dry ice in much of the global south, like many parts of Africa, South America, and Asia, where literally billions of people need to be immunized. It's estimated that all over the world, we would currently lose upwards of 25% of all vaccines in transit. But it's a problem in the US too. Almost no hospitals in the US have the ultra-cold freezers that are necessary to store the Pfizer vaccine. Nearly half of rural US hospitals were operating at a loss in April of this year, and the ultra-cold freezers needed to store the vaccine cost $10,000 to $15,000 each. And although the Moderna vaccine doesn't require ultra-cold storage, it risks degradation in every step of transportation. The supply chains will need to be carefully orchestrated to prevent significant wastage of vaccines. But these two vaccines have given a lot of people hope.
At this point, if one were to say which one would probably be most and best utilized for distribution out to the general public, one would have to say probably the Moderna.
For both the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine, the troubles might not lie with the science, but with how it's going to get to you. What do you think of these two new vaccines? Let us know in the comments, make sure you like this video, click subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell for post notifications. We'll see you next time!